welcome or welcome back to Co's little channel. So kind of editing Angel real quick. Hi. But in the first video or the first part of this video, my mic wasn't on like at all. And let me check to make sure. Okay, it's on now, but my mic wasn't on, so there will be like a weird cut somewhere. But I'm gonna cut that out, but I'm just gonna there'll be like a weird cut when I talk about the first book of this video. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I posted on like my community tab about the lack of updates. I'll post the picture, like screenshot of it here, but if you want to check it out, it is in my community tab. It's the first post there. I just talk about my lack of updates, and long story short, it's like a storage issue. I am actively trying to figure out how to remedy that. It's just I have to like figure out where to like move it and stuff like that. And I kind of, in the first part of the video, I'm just explaining all of that and apologizing for the lack of updates, but I'm trying to figure things out still, right? So yeah. Cut to past Angel, I guess. But yeah, like my mic was out. It was not on. Like she was not on for like the first like few minutes of the video. But yeah, okay. My mic has not been on. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I literally just clicked it on and just thought like, okay, it's working. But Immortal by first Sulan Tan read, and I've been seeing this all over. I say social media, but mainly like Pinterest, because they know I like to read, I guess, now. And I just love how gorgeous and reflective this cover is. It's a lovely standalone fantasy in case you want to get into fantasy but don't want to have to read 4, 5 plus books in like the entire series. You just want to do like a one book and done. This is a recommendation. If you see my reel, I did a reel. Was it a reel? Shorts. I did YouTube shorts of standalone fantasy books, so I'll try to link that below if I can. I'll post it like at the end of the video if editor Angel feels like it. But it is on my channel if you want to look in the shorts tab. It's like the second video or second short there. But this book, if I can kind of like, it's been such a long time. I'm trying to remember like what it is. Like, I just adored the world building in here, and I like the lyrical writing. It's kind of like my fave writing in a sense, like how you could just word things beautifully. But it's super lovely, and I don't know, like I really enjoyed it. A breathtaking standalone romantic fantasy filled with dangerous secrets, forbidden magic, and passion about a young ruler who fights to protect her kingdom. And it's the same author who wrote Daughter of the Moon Goddess, if you've read that and enjoyed that. I think that's a duology, I think, but standalone if you want to get into like standalone. There was like many twists and turns in here. I remember at one point I was like reading this at work on my break, and a scene happened. I can't remember what scene it was, but like a scene happened and my jaw dropped. I was like, what? I had to contain my shock into my little cubicle, but this was like really good, and I like really enjoyed it. I can't like really tell you how much, like, or I can't really like verbally say how like what it was about, but it's like battle between like the gods and goddesses like above, and like, you know, like the mortals like on earth or like on land, and then like the darker part of like these like magical beings or like ethereal eternal beings. either way, it was really good. Right? All of that to say, it's really good. I enjoyed it. Also recommend if you want to get into like a standalone like fantasy read. So really good. The next book I read is For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga, and I have 2 copies right here. Because I read this on, I think, Kindle Unlimited, um, and I wanted to own it, but I wanted to see, because I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to see if there was in a special edition of it that I could probably get my little hands on, and there was, and I found like the Fairy Loot edition and Owl Crate edition for a really like cheap price. People were like just like selling it, and yes, and what I really love about Fairy Loot edition, I'll post like a video, probably like pop up like right here, showing you how it looks with the Fairy Loot edition. Like, I love how it's a double-sided jacket, so it has the original um like first edition cover, which I still enjoy. It's super gorgeous, as well as the special edition. And I like how there's like gold copper foiling and the end paper art and the sprayed edges. It's super gorgeous. And then like the Owl Crate, I really loved the end paper art in this one. I like the art style, and it was also really pretty and gorgeous, and it's, I don't know, I just really love it, and I just like, well, I don't mind having 2 versions. And the Owl Crate is a signed copy, so that's also pretty exciting. I don't think Fairy Loot is. Let me see. It is, so they're both signed copies, so I have both beautiful signed copy editions of For She Is Wrath. But um all that to say, I enjoyed it. I also gave this 5 stars, and like there was, it's like, if you read based off of tropes, there is kind of like childhood friends to maybe lovers turned like enemies to lovers. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of twists and turns as well. This is also a standalone, so if you want to, you know, dive into fantasy but don't want to read a super long exorbitant series, then For She Is Wrath can be a good suggestion. So I can read you like the back, and it says, "The whispers grew louder, like the stones themselves were speaking to me, like the earth had been cleaved in two and begun talking, and that one word rose again above the rest, an incantation and warning all at once: revenge." And I enjoy this so much, and it's like you're seeing our main character, what's her name? Uh, Dania. You're seeing her, and the story starts off where she's like in prison because she's been wrongfully accused of a crime that she did not commit, but she was framed for, and so she's like, I'm gonna get back at those who put me here. And you see her slowly get consumed by this rage, by this wrath, and I was so scared for her. Like, there were parts where I was like too scared to turn the page because I'm like, I am so scared for her. I want her to like, I don't like, at first I was like, you know, I support women's rage and all this other stuff, but after like the more like farther on you get into the story, I was like, okay, um girl, let's think about this. Like, let's relax, let's have a conversation, let's figure out like where we are right now. Like, is it worth it at the end? Because those that you've lost, like, they're not gonna come back. And it's just like, I was just having this one-on-one with her. I was like, girl, come on, let's figure this out. Let's have a talk. Let's have some chai. Let's, you know, figure things out. But it was really good. Like, I enjoyed it. Page turner, or like Kindle tapper, right? And I also like recommend, if you want another, or you want another standalone romance rec, or fantasy romance, or just standalone fantasy in general, like standalone fantasy at its core, because both of these books and the one previous, world building is beautiful, and like it's kind of, if you want to say like a subplot, but it's like the main core of it is the plot and how they're going to really come up from that. You know what I mean? This is really good. 5 stars. Highly recommend. The next book I read is Color Like You Mean It by Shay West. And I gave this also 5 stars. So September was starting off as like a good month. I think overall it was a fun month to read, anyways. But Color Like You Mean It, I just, after reading so much fantasy, I was like, okay, I need like a cutesy, fun, um, like contemporary romance that I could just get into and like hee hee, kick my feet, all that vibes. And I got that, but I also got something deeper, right? So I guess like content warnings for this parent is going through offset dementia. I think that's kind of like early on dementia, like a form of that. If I'm wrong, apologies. I am not a healthcare doctor professional by any means. But if that is triggering to you, then if you want to read this after I talk about it a bit, proceed with caution. And just like anxiety and like other mental health um, representation in here as well. But other than that, this was really good. It's about, I don't remember the names, but like our main lady character, she has to take one more class in order to graduate because she's trying to graduate because what her father wanted. She currently lives with her father, and it's what her father wanted before he got diagnosed with um, offset dementia, and she's still keeping that promise to him because he's still around, right? Physically he's still around. Probably not always like mentally, but physically he's still around. And she is like, I have to do this for him, and that's like her goal and her strive. And she works part time for this. The service is called Color Like You Mean It, and it's kind of just like a service where you could like book an appointment just for cuddles. Like really, there's nothing sexual about it. There's nothing like, you know, anything like of the like. It's just purely like a hugging appointment because some people get after a breakup, after like a loss, after a stressful day. You just want to like hug someone and you probably just don't have that person to hug. So that's where our main character, I think her name is starts with an S. It's slowly coming to me. And I don't want to look. But Staley, that's her name. Her name is Staley. And that's, how we're introduced sort of kind of to our main character. Is a dual POV, which is also super fun. And she develops, or not develops, I guess kind of develops like a lustful type crush on her TA for this class she's trying to get into. This like poetry type class, and it acquires all the credits that she really needs. And she just figures, well, it's only kind of feel like I'm interested in. Let me be on the wait list, but still attend class just in case. And so there we meet our other main character. I think is his name Bo? I have to look. I'm sorry. No, his name is Theodore. Totally wrong. Theodore Sullivan, or Theodore. He is the TA, but he is quiet, doesn't really speak much. But we learned that it's because he stutters. And despite all of the like speech therapy and other types of therapy going on, he still stutters when he gets like super, I don't want to say animated, but like emotional or stressed out and stuff like that, especially dealing with overbearing mother and stuff like that. Their, I can call like their meet cute was so embarrassing. Like I don't want to spoil it in case you do decide to read it, but I literally was like cringing as I was reading it and like turning the page or like tapping on like my Kindle because I was like, oh my gosh, like what do you mean? But it was super fun. It's super cute. Also kind of like I don't say like heart wrenching, but like a little bit with like the parents and what they're going through and how like hard all of it like just must be. And yeah, it was like really good. The writing was also flowery, which as you know, I love flowery writing. I literally just said that. But it's super fun. It's a nice read. You will laugh. I did like, giggle here and there, and you might like get sad at times, especially if you've been through a loved one who has or had offset dementia or any type of that type of like illness. Then that that's kind of triggering because it's like on page, so you see how she's going through and how she's going through with that. But it's really nice. The little poetry is there, the way they yearn for each other, but it's said in a way that's super lyrical and poetic, which is like on brand for the story because um he's a TA of the poetry class, and she's like trying to get this credit. So it's super lovely, it's super fun. Stately is super unserious, but in like the best way. She's pretty great, and Theodore is also lovely and the sweetest guy. I loved it. I enjoyed it. 5 stars. So, good luck, give me it. After that, I read Must Love Libraries and Libations by Maisie McGill. It's part of a Moonshine Hollow series, but you could read each of these books as like a standalone. And I rated this 4 stars. I had to look at my phone. 4 stars, and it's a short read. You can see like how like thin this is, and then the font is like pretty big, right? So it was like a quick little read. The back, she's planning the party of the year. He's 1000% done with her sparkly ideas. One grumpy gargoyle, one sunshine half elf, and one epic clash that will go down in Moonshine Hall history. Unserious, it's cute, it's fun. Cozy fantasy romance with the spice or pinch of spice, which is like right up top here. And like I said, I enjoyed it for like the most part. There was just like a couple of things that if you've followed my reading channel, like my reading books or book wrap-ups like long enough, you would know that I'm not a big fan of like insta lust or insta love, and it wasn't like that here because we're like kind of dropped in and they've kind of had this thing back and forth for like a while. So we're kind of just like on like the tail end of that, because I personally think that they kissed too soon, because I almost stopped reading when they kissed, and it's like super early on, at least to me, right? To me, they kissed, and I think this one is on no, because I read this physically. But it is on Kindle Unlimited, I want to say, if you want to read it and check it out. But or is it this one or like some? I don't think this one is. If it is, I just didn't read it on there. But I think I had to buy it physically because this one was on Kindle Unlimited, but like a different one was. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But I first think they like kissed kind of like a bit too fast for me, for my taste. And it's supposed to be, I think, one of the themes is like enemies to lovers. I didn't really see that, at least not for like, okay, what to expect. Enemy to lovers, forced proximity, she falls first, he falls harder, grumpy sunshine, magical library, and cozy magical town, protective alpha with a hidden soft side, magical mishaps, tiny dragons, aka bookworms, is what they're called, found family, and happily ever after guaranteed. Enemies to lovers, I feel like I'm not really sure if this is like, if you can really classify this as enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers was for She Is Wrath, and also a little bit of Immortal, right? That's enemies to lovers because they want to kill each other. But in here it was mainly like, I don't want to say rivals, just maybe like distaste to lovers, but of course that doesn't sound as cute or as fun. But outside of that, that was like my only little blip, right? But outside of that, the world and like the magical essence of it was really fun. And at the end of the book, there is like little recipes. Let me see, little recipes. and it's super cute, and I'm like, hello. So that's why I like really enjoyed it, as well as like a little glossary of all like the people and like the names of peoples and things and stuff like that. But I really adored this part, which is why it stayed as like a, or it um if I can say, went up to like a 4 star, because I was sitting at like a 3.75 for like as soon as I read the whole early kiss thing. But the fact that there's a little cookbook or recipes is super fun, and I'm like, OMG, like I wouldn't mind one day making these things, um, and like figuring out like how to do it. It probably won't be done well, but it's the fun of it, and I really enjoy that. Like, what cozy fantasy do you know has like a recipe book at the end? That's so cute. It's so cute, and it just fit all the cozy vibes. So that's why I really liked that part, and it bumped up the 4 stars. But yeah. So it's the if I can do a quick little like rundown. Um, it's the library's like 111th or like 1011th, I don't know, some type of year anniversary or like birthday, and our main woman character wants to throw a party inside the library, but the main librarian guy, Gargoyle, doesn't, and he's like, it's supposed to be quiet and there's no food in here, like da da da, it's not like a party place, have it in like the auditorium or like in a field or somewhere, but not at the library. So they kind of go back and forth on that, and of course, um, when he eventually coincides with his like outside in the part, they kind of like work together, and some type of like it's not really miscommunication, but like too shy to admit feelings and stuff like that. But either way, it was cute, right? It was really cute overall. I liked it. The If you want like a cozy, fantastical, like magical, whimsical, all the coals vibe, um, then you will 100% get that in any Moonshine Hollow like series. Just like a prequel. I think there's 3 books out right now: a prequel, book 1 and book 2. Um, but they're super, super fantasy, super cozy. A light read, right? If you want to take a break from all like the heaviness of what you've been reading and all like the angst, whether it's like standalone fantasy or like even some angst and some romances, and you want something light and fluffy, this is light and fluffy. So I really enjoyed it. Or for that most part, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The last book I read is Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer, and I gave that 4 stars. So overall, I had a nice like reading month. If I can remember, this book, it was fun, unserious. The writing was simple, and it felt quick for you to get through. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I got this recommended to me when I was watching one of Chandler Ainsley videos. She like talked about this, and she talked it up and how like it's like a fun romance, sports romance with hockey, enemies to lovers, marriage of convenience, fake marriage, fake dating, and all that other stuff. And apparently, fake dating marriage tropes is my favorite. Since I enjoy like a lot of the ones I've read. The yearning is there. It was like really fun. I can't remember too much of it, but it's like a sports romance. Our main character, our main guy character, he like has to prove that he's like a citizen of like Canada or something, and the only way to do that essentially is to of course like work there, but I think his working visa is gonna like end soon, and once that ends, then he'll have to go back home, but he doesn't want to. So the only other way is like to get married. And then we have our main woman character. She is the doctor of said hockey team, and she runs like is it like a non-profit or like an organization to help other like younger like girl athletes get out of like their injuries and prove that they can still play like their favorite games and stuff like that. And she wants more money to help fund this organization that she's like in charge of, but the donations are like running out, and it's not enough to like really support what she wants. But she knows she has an inheritance, but the only way for her to get her inheritance is to get married. And she's been talking all up and down. She does not want to get married, but if she wants to keep this program for the girls, she has to. And, you know, grumpy Russian hockey player and the doesn't take any, you know, crap doctor of the team, and fake marriage, fake dating, all of that. This is a big cast. Like I feel like a lot of hockey romances, they're like a big cast because they are going through all these different other couples. So it's like this is the fourth book in this series. The Vancouver Storm series is the fourth book. So I can't tell you what any of the other characters' names is. I can't tell you like how they look like. They're just popping up names. I'm like, there was points where I was like, wait, who is that? But of course, I eventually stopped caring because I'm like, I'm not reading about them. It's totally fine. It's whatever. Like, it's whatever. It's also a longer romance. It's 446 pages, and if you're not into longer romances, that's okay. I'm kind of like iffy like about them, or like I tread lightly because I'm like, what more do you have to say for like a romance? But I still like enjoyed it. Like I said, simple writing, and the characters were like pretty fun. But yeah. So that is it. That is all I read in the month of September. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have more recs for like fantasy, even like romance and stuff like that. Let me know down below what you've read in September, or what are you currently reading now in October as like I'm filming this. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I like to see more custom videos just like this, whether it's books or gaming and anything of the like that is cozy. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.